Ready?
Mm-hmm. Increase your sales with this small business growth strategy, whether you're a freelancer, whether you're a small business, whether you're a growing business, whether you've just started out, you've been going for a little bit of time. This is a growth strategy that we've mapped out. We do lots of stuff with large organizations. We're a relatively small organization, and so I've been distilling down what we've been working on in our what we look for checklist when we're doing work with our customers. So I'm going to take you through that. So this is not relevant necessarily for you if you want to work with us, but I just want you to be aware of some really simple tips that I've mapped out right here behind me to help you grow your business, be more connected with your customer, be more insightful with what's going on, and help you move forward, particularly as we move into the 2019 year. For everybody, you can start thinking about what are the things that are going to help project you, accelerate you forward. So I want you to have a think about these few things. It's a live stream. It's Ask Best Practice. So if you've got any comments or questions, comment below this video. We monitor all of the comments, and if you've got good quality questions, ask them in the comments below and I'll get back to you. So let's just quickly revisit this stuff. We've been looking at and refining best practice here. I'm always constantly looking at our business and how this business runs. And what I wanted to just quickly talk to you about is we've just put a lot of thought into what we've captured here in our brochure that we give to our customers. So I'm out almost every day seeing lots of customers, and this is our business improvement brochure. It's what we issue with a fee proposal. I'm out seeing clients, I'm talking to them about their businesses, they've got questions, they've got concerns. I guess the common element with all of them is that they want to grow, they want to get more organized, they want to be more profitable, they want to be fun, they want to be safe, they want to be efficient. So if you're an organization that really wants to grow, if you're a person that wants to grow, you've got distractions, you've got things happening on a day-to-day basis that become a bit of a struggle for you. I just want to give you, I guess, my tools, my practical tips and tricks that I use to keep me grounded and keep me going forward on a day-to-day basis and a month-to-month basis. So in order, I'm just going to go through these and talk about each of the elements. I think they're not well documented anywhere. They're not in a textbook. It's been trial and error here at Best Practice. And my 15 years of business, these things have been what have become my current tools and techniques, if you like, with helping me move forward. The first one is start with why. Now, in the last 24 hours, I've been, looking at all the different social media posting and the different people that I follow on social media. Some of them are my mates, some of them are different businesses, they're clients, they're all sorts of people. And I think the one thing that I've observed is myself as a consumer versus myself as a business owner. I'm often really quick to say why I'm different, our unique differentiators, what's different about us, what's better about us in the marketplace. But then as a consumer, I'm not actually interested in that stuff. I'm not interested in what's different. I'm interested in why people do what they do. There's a great book by Simon Sinek called Start With Why. What Simon Sinek says or talks about in that particular book or his world famous TED Talk is that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And so when you're publishing on social media, when you're publishing on Instagram or LinkedIn, I think it's important to be talking more about why you do what you do, not what you're doing or why you're different or why you're better than the competitor or why you're part of an industry, because I don't know what's going on in the industry. I don't know what's going on in your industry as a consumer. And I think that's been a lesson for me in the last 24 hours is to be talking more about why we do what we do. I'm really passionate about helping your organization grow. I may have not ever met you, but I'm still passionate about seeing organizations cut through all the complexity to try to help you guys be really, really simple, whether you're a one-man show, whether you're freelance, even if you're just working as a leader of a team. I just want you to be thinking about how do I keep it simple. So it's talking more often about why you do what you do, what you're passionate about and why you do what you do. And my why, or the why here of Best Practice, is about helping. We're really passionate about working in partnership. We like working with people, and we like to help people grow, and it's the context around business. I get really, really excited and passionate about, and I'm even starting to jiggle about helping organizations to grow. So I'm really interested in your why. So talk about your why. Our why, and I'll get to it, is about, we're passionate about helping you be more profitable. We're passionate about helping you to be safer, more sustainable, more engaged with your customers. That makes you a great company to invest in, buy from, and work at. And so it's good for the economy. And I think I watch myself make mistakes on a day-to-day basis. I struggle to get motivated. I get caught up in, my office is behind this wall, and I get caught up in my office, and I don't spend as much time doing what I love. I get caught up in the day-to-day, and that blocks us growing, and it blocks us going forward. So I think it is really important that I take my advice that I'm about to talk to you about here as much as anything. So starting with why. So Simon Sinek's got a great book, Start With Why. He's got a second book to that, a follow-up book called Find Your Why, and I think they're absolutely fantastic. They're worth a read, and more importantly, on Audible, if you were to download Start With Why and listen to the audio book, Simon Sinek actually narrates his own book, and I think it's fantastic. It's got all the right tone, inflection, and everything from that, and it's a really, really great listen. It's about 8 hours. As a book, and it will impact you. So if you're really passionate and you're really committed to growing your business and you really want to grow your business, give yourself permission to do that, and part of that process is I can't recommend highly enough the Start With Why book. So I'm not going to steal his tons of great stuff. The next thing that I want you to be thinking about is these two questions, and they form part of this 12-week plan that I'm talking about right here behind me, the 12-week plan, and that is it's these two questions. So write this down, press pause, record, come back to it, re-listen to this if you need to. So it is about, in thinking about the next 12 weeks, what does success look like? In thinking about the next 12 weeks, what does success look like for you? And yes, it's about goals and it's about plans, but it's specific, it's measurable, it's time-based, and it's realistic. So I want you to have a real good think about what is it that when I look back over the next 12 weeks, I'm 12 weeks ahead in my life, zoom forward 12 weeks, then look back over these future 12 weeks, think about what success looks like for you. What is it that you want to achieve? What is it that you want to get a handle on? And actually start to make some notes. Then that becomes something that you can visit every morning when you get up. You can go through your morning routine, you can look at those things and you can say, what am I doing today to shift myself forward? Because those things were really important to me. Now you might get halfway through your 12 weeks and go, actually that issue is not important anymore. Or it might be completed or it might be finished, but I want you to think about what does success look like? What would be the key achievements that you want to achieve in the next 12 weeks? That becomes your 12-week plan. Why is it 12 weeks? Because 4 times 12 weeks is almost a year, so we're thinking quarterly, if you like. So, 4 times 12 is 48, it's not quite 52. So maybe thinking about the next 13 weeks. 13 is an unlucky number. I'm a little bit superstitious, so let's just use 12. Gives us a little bit of margin for error. So it's about the difference between small businesses and large businesses is systems and processes. And if you're a small business that wants to grow to be a large business, start behaving like one. Do your quarterly reporting, have your quarterly meeting, write your quarterly plan, think about what success looks like in the next 12 weeks, write it down, work towards it, stay focused on it. It's pretty straightforward. Otherwise, you'll find yourself back where you are today, scrambling, getting stuck in issues, not going forward, history repeating itself, and not actually seeing the growth and not being able to look at those milestones and give yourself some recognition and some credit for your achievements and your effort. So we really want to see you're going to put effort in, right? You're going to be alive for the next 12 weeks. You're going to be working really hard for the next 12 weeks. Let's give ourselves the opportunity to achieve some goals and then celebrate those goals. Part of that 12-week plan, and the second part of it is in thinking about the next 12 weeks, what could go wrong? In thinking about the last 12 weeks, what went wrong? Now, I've had a ton of issues in the last 12 weeks. There's no doubt that October 2018 was probably one of the most challenging months for us here in our business. We're growing very, very quickly. We're doing lots of great stuff, but we did get, we got bogged down in some mud and we got bogged down in some issues here at Best Practice. And so I can talk about the things that went wrong, and I really want to learn from that. So in thinking about the next 12 weeks, what could go wrong? What went wrong in the last 12 weeks? And so the two questions are, in thinking about the next 12 weeks, what does success look like? In thinking about the last 12 weeks, what went wrong? In thinking about the next 12 weeks, what could go wrong? So those are the two questions. What is success? What could go wrong? The third question that's part of that 12-week plan is, and what are you doing about that? And what are you doing about that? When you think about success in the next 12 weeks, what are you doing about that? In thinking about what could go wrong, what are you doing about that? And that forms item number 3 here, which is our SWOT analysis, our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities, our threats, and documenting or writing out a bit of an issues list. Now, I've learnt some pretty significant lessons in 2018 around running my business, and I'm going to be sharing those as we go through, and I'm thinking about that stuff because I don't want you guys to make some of the mistakes that I've made. I'd like to learn from your mistakes so I don't make the same mistakes as you, and that's how we can share in this community. So if there's some significant learnings for you in 2018, maybe comment below this video, put some comments in, generic, you don't have to share everything if you don't want to, but let me know what you're thinking around, what went wrong for you, what went right, how did you work through this? But capturing an issues list. So this isn't about ISO, it's not about the usual stuff we talk about. This is just about having a good small team, small business, strategic system or strategic plan in place to see you significantly grow and improve in the next 12 months. So a SWOT analysis, if you haven't done a SWOT analysis before, there's lots of great videos from other great presenters on YouTube. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. In thinking about your team, in thinking about your business, in thinking about what you're doing, what are your strengths? What are you really, really good at? What are your weaknesses? What are your opportunities? What are your threats? And have a think about that stuff. Okay, now what we can then come back to is a plan on a page. Really, really straightforward. These are my successes. This is what could go wrong. Here's a few issues. And then at the bottom, maybe some measures. And that brings us to, where are we up to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stats on a dashboard. Point number 5 here is to start thinking about what are the numbers that you could track on a regular basis. Now, whether it's weekly, whether it's monthly, and quarterly, so that when you get to the next 12-week sit down and have a session or make the next 12-week plan, you can look back over the numbers and you can say, well, in thinking about the last 12 weeks, what did we achieve? In thinking about the last 12 weeks, what went wrong? And we can look back at our numbers. And so building a dashboard and starting to monitor that dashboard is no different to driving a car and seeing how fast you're going on the speedo in front of you, how fast you're going down the road, and are you going to get to your objective? Are you going to get to your target in time? At your desired time, if that makes sense. So I want you to think about that. There's some really straightforward, simple things that you can do with thinking about the different parts of your business. So what we could potentially, and I'll just quickly write these down and I'll pop them up on the wall for you. And I'll use blue, not pink, so everybody can see it. How's that? So we can just think about marketing. We can think about sales. We can think about customer service. We can think about finance. And maybe we can think about people, culture, and capability. So I'll just write that here. And so what would be a number? Leads, for example, or opportunities. Sales would be the dollars, the actual dollar value of invoices for the week or for the month. Customer service could be net promoter score. Finance could be cash collected. And people, culture, and capability could be hours of professional development. So if it's just you, if it's just if it's just you as a one-man show and you're a management consultant, if it's you as and you've got apparel business, if you've got a colleague that I was talking to, he does really amazing protection of vehicles, like clear wraps of vehicles. I was talking to him yesterday. These are all applicable. They're all applicable for all of us. They're even, if you're an employee of an organisation, if it's even applicable for just you. What are your opportunities? What are your sales? You're collecting your salary. What are your sales? What's your salary? What's your level of customer service that you're exchanging for your salary? What's your cash flow? What's your cash position? And how many hours of professional development? I think professional development's, this is probably the most important thing. That what you're doing right now is professional development. How many hours do you spend with us on our YouTube channel? or reading. Reading that book, Start With Why, that I talked about up here, Start With Why by Simon Sinek. That's professional development. And I want you to think about that, because that's really what's going to make you more valuable. For anybody out there, doing professional development, reading books, watching videos, learning, and then executing things in an improved way, whatever it is that you do will make you more valuable, and eventually you will earn more money. I guarantee it. If you do the professional development in your business, you will get more sales. It's not negotiable. And that's how we're going to increase sales in our business. We're talking about doing this PD, doing the development, doing the strategic plan, preventing things going wrong, and that means we're going to have more capability to sell more, we're going to get out, see more customers, better customer service. It all equals more sales. That's how we're going to grow. That's how we're going to get more sales. So the stats dashboard that I talk about just here, that's really, really important. Now, the one thing that I think has been the biggest thing the biggest message that has sunk in for me in the last month in anything that we're doing with best practice is the who. This business is at a point in time when I'm walking around constantly as the entrepreneur that runs this business going, how do I solve that problem? How do I solve that problem? All this stuff's going wrong, how do I solve it? This is going right, how do I solve it? I want to grow, how do I do that? But what I've started to realize is that as your team grows, you can start asking the question, who has done that before? Who can I get to do that for me because they've done it before, they're going to do it faster? I've got Jack here, for example, running this whole back end. He's here in the room with me and he's running all this stuff because he is far better at it. And the who, in terms of getting our message out there, is getting Jack involved, setting up the lighting, setting up all the technology. The who is Jack. And so when we start to talk about these things here, as we're becoming an organisation is more than one person, it's two, because we get organised, we have an organisation, 3, 4, 5. So as we're growing out the organisation, we start to delegate ourselves these statistics, if that makes sense, up here. And so give somebody the marketing number and say, we've got to go get leads. That's your responsibility. You know how to do it, go and do it. If you see them struggling, they're not the right who. If they're achieving the numbers, they're the right who. And so a great book that I've been reading in the last month is No Man's Land by Doug Tatum, and I can highly recommend that. Jack, it's actually in my office, so don't worry about it. And so No Man's Land by Doug Tatum. Maybe we can do a quick Google search in a minute and find that for you guys. So if you want to get that ready, Jack, we'll show you No Man's Land by Doug Tatum. You can see the cover. I've been reading that, and it talks about how do we get through no man's land, how do we grow our organisation. Find people that have done it before. They've made the mistakes, they've learnt, they've developed on someone else's dime, on someone else's dollar. That's it. So Jack is just going to quickly show you No Man's Land. Quickly. Here it comes. Stand by. Okay, just push that one across. Here it comes, everybody. So, No Man's Land by Doug Tatum. It's a picture of the cover. Absolutely fantastic. It looks like, is that US dollars? $16.78 US on eBay. There we go. That looks like an eBay ad. Is it in stock? Where's that? Amazon. It's $16.78 on Amazon. That looks like US dollars. That book I can highly recommend. So if you need to, when you're watching the video, press pause, come back, screenshot this with your device. So whether you're at a desktop or a laptop or on a mobile device, screenshot that, No Man's Land, and grab yourself a copy of that book. It's a fantastic read. Tons of professional development for you. So there's 2 book recommendations. Start With Why and No Man's Land by Doug Tatum. I can highly recommend it. He talks about the stats dashboard. He talks about giving everybody a number. And then he talks about the who. And I think the biggest thing for me is who is the best person that has experience, that has done this before, that knows what to do in the space that we're moving into. So we're growing as an organisation. You're going to grow as an organisation. Who is the person that's going to do that for you, that's done it before? They've been there before. They've walked that path before. They've made the mistakes, and someone else paid them to make the mistakes. And I know this sounds selfish, but that's just reality. Too often I think I've fallen into the trap where I grab the next available person, like we desperately need someone to help, and we grab someone who's available instead of the best player. And so if you think about a football team, if you think about a basketball team, if you think about a sporting team, we want to look for the best player to play that position, not just the person that's available. You could get anybody and bring them onto the field, then maybe not. They're not going to help you win. You want to find the person that can help you win. So have a think about that dashboard and those key areas there on that particular dashboard. Okay, and the last point I just wanted to quickly talk to you about is you're doing what you're doing, and you're constantly stretching the promise that you make to your network. Whether you're working in a job, whether you're a one-man show, whether you're a management consultant, whether you're running an apparel business, and I'm thinking about someone when I say running an apparel business, when whether it's you're running Clear Shield, and that's a shout out to David Yanello at Clear Shield. So, I want you to think about this sort of stuff, and it's any of you guys that are part of the Best Practice Network. I want you to think about who and that's how you're going to grow. That's the best way to grow your organization. And we spend a lot of time writing systems and processes and documents and all that sort of stuff because we neglect to put the effort into finding the best who to get those numbers for us. Then the last part of it is process flow. The more that we systemize our business, the more that we refine process flows, then as the business grows, then we can have lower levels of skilled labor helping us to achieve those numbers. But we've got to get the right initial people in place to manage as part of our management system and as part of our management strategy, if this is your management strategy. But then eventually we want to systemize the business. We want to do as much as we can with software, as much as we can automated with great quality tooling or a great quality factory, depending on what your business does, whether it's products or services. We want to systemize as much as we can so we can keep tweaking that. So the system puts out a robust, consistent 5-star result, and then we have the human element guided and maintained with professional development and training, and we go through this same process as ourselves. We talked about professional development, people, culture, and capability. So that's really been, the small story and the small, piece of information I wanted to share with you today, and it was really prompted by we've revised our brochure here at Best Practice, our business improvement brochure. And it was all about, what are the really succinct, simple things that we can do to pull together our management system that helps us strategically manage our organization outside of certification. Not really, yes, you get the pleasant byproduct of an ISO management system, whether you're looking at ISO 9001 or whether you're looking at ISO 14001 for environment or ISO 45001 for safety or cybersecurity. All these principles apply. So I just wanted to talk you through this. It just explains what this is all about here in this brochure, and I think it's a great starting point, and I want you to be thinking about that because that becomes the building block. So, your homework after this video, I want you to think about the next 12 weeks. Have a look at your calendar. Open up your calendar, open up your diary, and put in a time to give yourself a clarity break. You can sit back, you can look at what you need to do, take a day off work, take a day out, find somewhere nice, whether it might be a nice coffee shop or a cafe or a place by the beach or out in the forest, or just outside, to give yourself some clear space. Go for a walk, maybe an hour walk or a 2-hour walk somewhere safe. Go for a walk and then come back and start to write down, in thinking about the next 12 weeks, what does success look like? In thinking about the next 12 weeks, what could go wrong? What went wrong in the last 12 weeks? What stopped you from going forward? What were the things that came up that stopped you from going forward? Get those onto your issues list and start thinking about the preventative strategies that you can put in place in the next 12 weeks to stop those happening again, because then they won't be roadblocks for you and your business will start putting foundations down that help you grow, putting controls in place to prevent those things happening again that will help you go forward. Yes, there's going to be new challenges in the future, and there will be things that stop you from being productive in the future. And it's thinking about how we can work around those things in a much more efficient, quicker, faster way to keep ourselves moving forward, to hit those numbers, hit the numbers that we're talking about here on this particular dashboard. Okay, so a couple of other things to just be aware of. Issue 4 of Certified has just come out. There's issue 3 and there's issue 4. So both of those are available for download on the Training Academy. If you're in Australia and you're on our mailing list, we will be sending you out hard copies. So if you've received this in the post before, if you're a client of Best Practice, you'll get a copy of this sent to your organisation. So ask your Best Practice contact who that was sent to so you can go find it and have a read of that. They are all available for download on the Best Practice Training Academy, and we'll post the link to all those products below in the description of this particular video. So comment below for me. I'd love to hear what's on your strategic plan. What does success look like for you in the next 12 weeks? What are you working on? Any of you guys that are watching live right now, if you've got questions, I'm here to answer your questions. I see a few people watching live. If you've got any questions or if you want any of my help, tell me, what's the biggest challenge that you've got or that you see that you might have in the next 12 weeks? What's the biggest opportunity for you? What's your strength? What might be a threat for you? And certainly, if I think back over October 2018, and comment beside, if you've got the super chat there, you're watching live and you've got a question, or you want to share something, or you want to let me know where you're watching from. Maybe you guys that are watching live, let me know where you're watching from. I love it when people tell me from all over the world where they are. It's quite exciting. We're here coming to you live right near Manly in Sydney, Australia. So if you want to let me know where you're watching from, but if you've got a challenge, let me know and I can help you with that challenge. So if you're watching this after this live stream, after the event, comment below, and don't forget to go and have a look for me on LinkedIn. My handle is @KobiSimat on LinkedIn, and hit the follow button, and you'll get lots of my text-based and video and image posts on LinkedIn, and it's a great way to message me. If you'd like to ask me a personal question, if you'd like my guidance or advice directly in a personal one-on-one environment, you can send me a message on LinkedIn, and I'll just, if you've got a question, just ask the question and I'll help you with that question. So go find me on LinkedIn @KobiSimat, hit the follow button, send me a message on LinkedIn, and I can help you there. Okay, check out Best Practice's website. Lots of updates on the Best Practice Certification.com.au website on the blog page. We call it Trade Secrets, and Alexi's been writing lots and lots of great articles for you guys to have a read. So if you like reading stuff, go check out the Best Practice website. Okay, so any questions from anyone? Not at this stage. Hello, Nick. Given all the moving parts, we assume that every 12 weeks it's best to pull up, take a break and go again. In ISO language, could that double as management review? Yes, absolutely, Nick. That's exactly right. We use ISO 9001, ISO 14001, 45001 as our inspiration, 100%. I talk about these things here. What I'm talking about here in all this butcher's paper will give you the pleasant byproduct of ISO compliance. And absolutely, Nick, that is an absolutely fantastic question. Management review, monitoring and measurement. We talk about the dashboard. We're talking about, obviously, issues list, which might be improvement or your corrective and preventative actions. The who, it talks about resources in the standard and obviously process flow. So a whole bunch of these marry back to different parts of an ISO system. So yeah, thanks Nick, thanks for the question. And Nick, I assume you're watching from Melbourne in Australia. So thanks for joining us live. Okay, so all of that's relevant, and I'm going to go away and drink some of my Kool-Aid, as we like to say, and I'm actually going to go and implement these 7 steps. I keep revisiting those 7 steps, take time out, and actually look at how I can improve what I'm doing for you, what you guys are doing to help your customers, what you're doing to help your team members, what you're doing to lead your small organisations to growing into better things, so that you become organisations that are fun, safe, sustainable, profitable, growth focused. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody and hearing everybody's comments and seeing you all grow and sharing what you do. So go check me out on LinkedIn, check out Best Practice, and also go and have a look at nextpractice.education. And that's absolutely a fantastic little team that's starting to grow, do great things, and follow a lot of these principles. So if you haven't checked out Next Practice, go and do a Google search for Next Practice. And my last request, if you loved what you saw here, give us a like, give us a comment, and also, if you do engage with Best Practice, I'd love to see a Google review. So if you wouldn't mind taking some time out to jump across, search for Best Practice Certification on Google, go to our Google page, and I'd love a Google review. So I'm going to see you all next time when we run another live stream. Thanks for watching.